another week, and I am joined by Demetra K from the Demetra K Show. I'm Jonathan Sadiq. You guys have just tuned into Don't Believe the Hype, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff going on out there in the news for those that have not seen. And Dee, I need to get your opinion on this because people have been clapping at you for at least a couple of months now.
What can I say?
You know,
what can I say?
Well, you know what? You know, there's two ways of looking at that. When they clap at you, that's just saying that they're watching your show and listening to your show.
That's fine. That's fine.
You know, because your numbers are looking good.
Well,
and you get that message out there. You know.
That's all I strive to do is just get the message out there. I mean, when you take it or leave it, like it or love it, it's there.
And some people are grasping what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
And in the next segment, I want you guys to stay tuned and be ready for the next segment because we are going to get into some serious stuff.
It's going to be on and cracking.
And this is going to be a special edition of Don't Believe the Hype, and we are going to extend it a little bit because we want to get all of this stuff out and let you guys know what's going on. So again, I'm Jonathan Sadiq, joined by my co-host DK from the Demetra K Show, and what we try to do is debunk and get through the propaganda and the BS, and to tell you guys, here's the facts, or here's our opinion. Do with it what you
go
want.
and look deeper.
And look deeper than what it is. So don't believe the hype.
About my experiences with Will Smith, and recently a post was taken from my personal Facebook page by the nigga networks, and I'm calling you nigga networks because that's what you are. You're nigga networks. BET, TV1, and man bitches like Perez Hilton. And what you did was you took my personal post and you put it on blast and you put what you thought I meant, or you put your own seasoning on this so-called steak, not caring about what was happening in my life or regarding what was going on in my life, and not calling me to ask me, Miss Hubert, is everything okay? No concern, no compassion for my situation whatsoever. So I realized something about the black media. And I realized that, I needed some time to step away from all social media. But when you start questioning my mental ability, TV1, Kathy Hughes, then we have a problem. We have a problem. So Will, make no mistake, this video is for you, directly. Now your wife, y'all got this little show called The Red Table, where you sit there and you spill the blood of your own children on the table. And there was a movie called The Red Violin, which is what I'm sure where you got this whole concept. But I have spent many years protecting my son, never, ever, ever putting his name in print or photographs or pictures, because I understand how vicious people are, especially my community, especially the black community. And for 27 years, I've waited for you to be man enough to admit that you lied like a rug. But I know you're not going to do that. And I said this on The Real when, the Oscar video went down, that, you have a lot of skeletons in your closet, sweetheart, and for you to be talking about black consciousness when you don't even have any black employees
at your production company was beautiful, slinky, dark chocolate sister.
I remember.
Yes, JanetHubert, and you talked to a lot of people, and no shade to Daphne Maxwell Reid. She was put in a position to do what she has to do, but
right. And now we know why she got into that
position. Exactly. But a lot of people, to them, Aunt Viv is the JanetHubert, the black chick. And I'm not a fan of Will Smith because I know him as a rapper, happy rapper. So I don't really care for his acting. Believe it or not, I barely watch episodes of Fresh Prince, so I'm not.
And you're like me. I watch maybe one
or two, like if
pieces here and there.
If a certain star was on there, I wanted to see that episode. Right, I never followed it. So I didn't even take my gum out of my mouth. When I was doing that. But if you guys have been following recently over the last couple of years, JanetHubert has actually people think, oh my gosh, she's lost her mind. She's going in for Will and Jada, and it initially started with the Hollywood thing when Will didn't get a Oscar nomination for what was it, Ali or Pursuit of Happiness?
Concussion.
Oh, Concussion. You're right. It was Concussion.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, boycott. Why are you asking us to boycott? Because your husband. But that's another story.
Well, because it was her husband.
Right. And so JanetHubert chimes in and starts telling what was really going down. And so recently, Miss Hubert started a thing called JanetHubert's Butcher Block.
Well, you know why she said the butcher block, because Jada Pinkett has the red table talk that you can see on Facebook. So she said Jada Pinkett has the red table talk. Now welcome to Janet's butcher block.
Right. And I'm gonna put a link to Miss Hubert's reply to her butcher block and the comments below. And for those on the show, go to YouTube and you'll see it up there and just look it up. I mean, I happened to run across it because I don't really follow anything with Will Smith. I'm just not a fan.
Right.
So when I saw this, I was like, wait, is this an old rant or something? And I'm thinking of something I've never seen. And it was a fairly recent rant. And I think did I check you in on it?
You did.
Yeah. So what did you get out of the rant? Or, you know what? Let me give you guys a piece of it so you can kind of understand what we're talking about. So just stand by. So, what did you think about it?
Well, I thought she throughout the whole thing, she had a lot to say, and I was actually trying to validate what she was saying in regards to
his production company,
Overbrook Entertainment, where she said that basically, how dare he and Jada get mad at Hollywood or the Oscars not. Remember when they had the hashtag Oscar so white?
Yeah.
That was actually the boycott that Jada started because, like you said, Will didn't get nominated, and a lot of other black people didn't get nominated. But specifically, he didn't get nominated for the movie. I think it was Concussion. And so in that, on her butcher block, she mentioned how dare they talk about how something is so white when they don't hire black people within their production company. And I guess some of the movies a lot of the movies when she was saying that they produce are not black oriented or anything like that. And so to your earlier point,
it's kind of funny. Didn't Spike Lee allege something like that when he's making Ali? And Spike was like, I can do the movie, it's a black icon, stuff like that. And Will said, no, I'm gonna go. And Spike had kind of alleged, like, look, dog.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so that's what piqued my interest. Like, well, if that's true, then where do you get off talking about something being so white when you don't hire your own people? And then another thing, she took Alfonso Ribeiro, however you say it, to task. Because I guess he co-signed a lot of Will Smith's antics.
Talking about she got fired.
Yeah, he did to Janet. But I won't use the term she called Alfonso.
I'll use it. Basically, she said, and I quote, his tampon.
Yeah, she likened him to a feminine product. I used one at that.
Yeah,
because she said it Will's tampon. And he's co-signing this stuff. But she's like,
and he's complaining that he's not getting work because he's been typecast.
You're right. She said, but maybe if you stop running around here doing the Carlton all the damn time, you wouldn't be stereotyped.
Right, and you could get some work. And then your boy, who's supposed to be your boy, he should have given you some work.
Right, he ain't giving you no roles and that stuff. So it's like, the rant started off is because somebody, and she said it was Perez Hilton, the infamous blogger that started really like this whole gossip blog thing. I think even before TMZ came about, Perez Hilton's around, but she, in her words, called him a man bitch. Said that somehow he got a hold of that original, what people are calling a rant that was on her page, and took it, and a couple other people ran with it and made it, just kind of spliced it up and didn't tell the whole story, which is why she was doing this Butcher Block segment. But she was basically saying that she was blackballed, and it's ruined her life. it's ruined her career. She said before she got on the Fresh Prince, which she regretted doing, she was an actress, a dancer on Broadway, so she had a lucrative career before she got there.
She did what artists do in honing their craft. She worked at as a waitress, you know, and worked her way through.
That's what she said, yeah.
And learned the craft. And whereas like Will Smith, who, and you know, unfortunately in the 90s that's what happened. A lot of these rappers turned actors.
Yeah, you had the LL.
Yeah, and then you know they didn't go through the craft to learn that craft. They were just.
And that's what she said. That's what she said. You know, she says, you're not a skilled actor per se, as I am. You know, I've worked very hard to get where I was before I did the show, and for whatever reason they had a dispute. I guess it was over pay.
Right. Because she was saying, I mean, at the time, that's when Friends and them were getting $1 million.
But
episode per cast member.
It sounded like Will was getting the king's ransom of the money, which you know, the show was centered around him, so you can get that to some degree.
But what about the other cast?
Right, and it sounds like he didn't go to bat for them.
Well, from one of her previous rants, don't quote me. I think she had said where he was like, "Y'all get yours,
right? I'll
get mine."
And basically, you know, alluding to the fact when she was young that he was a snotty nosed kid trying to run a show, and everybody was catering around his, you know, wants and rants or whatever it is he was doing, and so she ended up getting a bad rap. I guess sort of like the old school Monique. What's going on with Monique now? She got a bad rap for being difficult and all that other stuff, but she's just like, I want my money, you know, and so it sounds like he didn't help her much, and since then she hasn't really worked. I mean, I can't really think of one single thing. I'm not saying she hasn't, but I personally can't think of one single thing that she's done since the Fresh Prince, because although I didn't watch it, I know the backstory, and that is she was also pregnant on the show, so she talked about that too.
Yeah, with her son.
I even let you guys write that into the script. You know, me being pregnant, so when she left to go have her child, that's when I guess she got word somehow that she was no longer welcome, and then that's how light skinned Aunt Viv came into the picture. Right.
Wow. That's
so,
dog
but
stuff.
You know, she's more or less fashioned this butcher block too, because she says she's tired of people lying on her and making it something that it wasn't. Like she's just lunatic that's ranting and raving and jealous, and she can't get over it because she was fired per se and all that other stuff. She says it's not that, but she just, I guess too, and I get this part because we do see Will Smith. He's this, I guess, inspirational guru now, where that's what he does. He's giving you these law of attraction theories, and you know, him and Jada are telling people how to live an awesome life and just breathe.
Yeah, just do movies where you're peeing on a crowd in New Orleans.
You stupid. No, I didn't say all of that, but they are telling people to vibrate higher, to reach for higher levels mentally and spiritually and all this other stuff. And she's like, how is it that you're the authority on spiritualism and doing the right thing when you have stood by the lie of what you've done to me since the Fresh Prince?
And been silent about it.
And been silent about it and allowing people to brand me as this difficult black woman. And then she also admonished black people by saying, I'm so tired of black people. She said, I gave my black card away a long time ago. She said, we are the meanest people
on the earth.
Now, and those are her words, the meanest people on the earth. Now, I don't know about the meanest people because, you know, we had a lot of stuff go on with black people, like slavery and stuff. But I would concede the fact that we are probably one of the, I won't say the, but close to being the most judgmental people on the planet. And I was having this conversation with Al earlier, saying, you know, I think we have it bad to where, let's say with Janet's situation, look at Aunt Viv, she just ranting and raving. But we won't say, okay, what's behind it? Why is this lady bad?
Don't believe the hype.
Right. Did she just wake up one day and just, she's jealous and she's just mad because I've seen people say that stuff, but now, since she had her little Butcher Block series, you can see people are starting to say, okay, wait a second. Let's start listening to her now, because I think she's really on to something.
Right, and remember, don't call her Aunt Viv. If she wasn't at your Thanksgiving table, she ain't your aunt. Okay.
But she also took Jada and Will to task for airing their children's business out all the time. And she says, and I'm paraphrasing, but you guys are a cold piece for airing some of the very personal things about your children out to the world. Like, at what point in time do you separate your life from the world. Like, everybody doesn't need to be on a need to know basis with everything you're doing.
Right, and and what I don't like about when people do that, and you put your children out there, and then when people start criticizing them or making memes on them or whatever, then you want to get mad.
And that's what she said, but she said that she feels that, for lack of better words, she failed to protect them. She or Will and Jada failed to protect their children. And then to that point, if you take it a step further, it's like, well, is that why, perception-wise, their kids have the issue that they have?
Could be.
You have Jada running around in a dress and skirts and
real quick,
flowers.
I mean to interrupt. Just got a news flash, you guys. It's very important. Newsflash: California just became the first state to end cash bail for people awaiting trial.
Oh, I heard about that last night.
Yeah, so that's going to be very, very interesting how that's going to play.
Well, what does that mean exactly?
Like, if you get called in, they don't want cash. You got to have
what, credit card?
A credit card or some other means of things. So
what difference does it make?
It's another way to keep black people and brown people who don't have bank accounts and stuff into. Yeah.
All right, can I give you a money order?
Maybe,
can I get it? I mean,
but it's gonna take you longer to get.
But if I'm needing if I need a bail, and usually bail is not very cheap. I mean, sometimes depending on what it is you're doing. But if I need that kind of money, I just go set up me an account or something. If that's what I mean. I don't know.
But a lot of us don't have accounts.
Well, no, a lot of people ain't got bail money, so what difference do it make? You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Mama done already gave us the house for 2 sons ago.
Yeah, for Cleopas.
Right, so she fresh out of mortgages, boo.
Right, so I just want to give you guys a quick thing on there. Got a quick flash. But back to Viv. For a while, in the ranch, you can't say in the butcher's block.
I love that term, actually.
Yeah, she was also, and like I said, I'm not a fan of Will Smith, and I'm not saying because I hate him. But because I'm not a fan, I'm looking at both sides of it, and she made a glaring thing that was very important to me. While some people have come out and corrected the record and stuff, he's remained silent.
Well, my thing is this, because this is, from the Monique thing and, a couple other cases here and there. Why is it that we have a hard time believing these people when they say they've been railroaded and blackballed?
She wasn't the star of the show. She wasn't the star of the show.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Why do we have a hard time believing that?
No, she wasn't the star. But if the star says it, we believe that. We believe it. You're a minor player.
I don't understand it. Like, yeah, people lie. I'm not saying they do, but like I feel like I'm a good judge of character. Just by listening to people, body language and stuff. And from watching her, JanetHubert, I didn't get the sense that she was lying. I didn't even get the sense that she was a bitter, mean woman who life didn't turn out right. I didn't get that sense from her.
What I did get from her watching the video, I did get the sense that she's committed to her conviction. She's like, this is it. I mean, she hasn't changed her demeanor whatsoever. But I have noticed she does look like, like it's consumed her. You know what I mean? Not like.
But I get what you're saying. And so let me just expound on your point or ask you this, because I agree. I agree when something consumes you to the point of you can't think of anything else. It is toxic and it does have a toll on you outwardly. But perhaps it's consumed her because she's just like, I don't want you to get away with what you've done to me. Because some people are just that way. Like I will go to my grave proving that you did me wrong, because I don't want, and a lot of times when people are that way, it's not about me being, I have this ultimate axe to grind and I'm just never going to be sharp enough. It's, I want to clear my good name. Because like she said in the beginning, I was somebody already accomplished before I got to Fresh Prince, which she says she's regrets doing because it ultimately ruined her life. But and she also said in this video of the butcher's block, if you will, that she's not going to be on the earth that much longer. So was that her telling people she's dying, or
something's going on?
Maybe for her, the fame and the fortune and stuff is not as important as it used to be. Maybe if she is dying, I don't know. But maybe it's important to her to clear her name so that when she dies, her legacy is not that of, dark-skinned Aunt Viv was just mad. Because, life didn't work out for her. So in that respect, I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
Well, I'm going to say this. Karma is a motherfucker. So if, and I can kind of see it now because, Will had his Hollywood crest and he's been going down ever since because everything else he's been in since has been boo-boo.
Well, now as she said, he's shifting into this motivational guru, if you will. Because I've seen quite a bit of his stuff, and he has good things to say, but to Janet's point, how genuine are those things if you've screwed people over
to get there?
And yeah, your mouth is zipped when it comes to making it right. So
what's that old saying? The very same people you screw over to get to the top are the same people you're going to see as you head
on the way down. You're gonna have to see those same people. So yeah, I mean, I like JanetHubert.
I do.
I like her.
I think she's genuine.
And I honestly do feel sorry for people like her and Monique because who they really are and their talents and stuff gets overshadowed by narratives that people with no knowledge of what's going on paints of them.
And then the people who don't do their homework to say,
right,
let's see, because what's that saying? There's your side, my side, and then there's
the truth, which only those people involved were there. So that's to my other point. Why would they lie about that? Why would somebody like Monique or Janet take so much effort? It seems like they could be doing other things, which they probably are, but why would they go to such lengths to prove that they're right? You know?
Well, probably because they believe in their truth. I mean, unfortunately, if you're a person that actually stands for, I mean, I find it, I have yet to meet somebody who's been involved in a lie or something like that stands on it like a rock until they go into the grave. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Right, because the story usually changes.
Yeah.
But you know, in PR we say your name is sometimes all you have. Warren Buffett says quite eloquently, he says, you know, companies can afford to lose a lot of money because, you know, and I'm paraphrasing here, but you can get that back. But companies or individuals, you cannot afford to lose 1 ounce of your reputation.
Right.
Back in the day, here's my history, PR history stuff coming out here. But back in the day, people would just, you know, handshake on deals,
right,
or their name, their word was good enough. Oh, you know, on my great granddaddy's name, I promise you, Buster, I'm gonna pay you this money for this land. All right, see you next week with the money. But now we got to
write that 3 contracts,
all that, you know, and it still ain't
and some collateral. Put some collateral in.
So the point that I'm making is, to a lot of people, even in 2018. Your name is all you have. Your name is your credit.
My mother always told me that.
Right. There's some people's names, you can go out in the street and say, Donald Trump. Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's all. That's going to evoke shadiness and just the worst.
Laughter.
Right. So there you have it. So I get where somebody like Janet or Monique is like,
yeah,
if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to clear my name.
And all money ain't good money. You've got some people that will throw their name out the window for a few coins. Yeah.
Well, you know, and Janet probably in good faith did Fresh Prince, thinking it was going to be a good thing.
Yeah, but
blackballed.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, you do something in good faith, and then you get this snotty-nosed rapper from Philadelphia that comes to Hollywood, everything is handed to him, and he starts, you know, feeling himself. You know, you weren't expecting that.
And this is another angle that I haven't seen anybody talk about. Maybe she talked about it, I don't recall. Maybe that's why it's coming to my mind. But there's also that other thing of the dark-skinned woman being bad. She's evil. She's hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But then you get, you know, light skin, no shade to light skinned women. Now, so that's not where I'm taking this. So miss me with all that.
Right.
But then you have this beautiful, perception wise, light skinned woman who's soft spoken and oh Phil, and all this other stuff. And she's the good one all of a sudden, and she gets to ride off into the sunset with the rest of the show. But then, like I said, on the other hand, this black ass Aunt Viv, the dark skinned one, she's hard to deal with, and she's evil. And so, to me, that's kind of what I see from a different standpoint. That we are, not we, but society, and somebody like Will in the Fresh Prince show are continuously demonizing chocolate women. Whether they're intentionally doing that or not, that's what's going on.
That's super deep. Super deep. So you guys just stay tuned on that. Again, you guys can check out the link and just give us your comments and concerns and tell us what you think about is what she's saying coming. You know, what do you think about what JanetHubert is saying.
You want to call her Aunt Viv?
Yeah, I don't want to call her Aunt Viv. I don't want her visiting my house or dropping some notes in the comment section.
Okay.
So she is not my aunt. She has not ever sat at my table, and it's just a character she plays. It's just, but
But unfortunately, that's all people really know her as Aunt Viv, and not even just Aunt Viv. I mean,
I've seen her in a few other productions, in minor roles.
But you probably have. But for the most part, when you see JanetHubert, that's the dark skinned Aunt Viv.
Yeah.
That's how I've heard people respond to her. The dark Aunt Viv.
Yeah, like I said, I another person that can clear a lot of this up is Avery Brooks. And Avery Brooks, unfortunately, has passed.
Yeah, I'm about to say he ain't here no more. What about Jeffrey?
Jeffrey could probably clear a lot of this stuff up too, but again,
or did he pass?
No, he's still here. But again, it's just another thing that I want to bring everybody's attention to, because I think it brings to the point, which is going to go into your show, about what we're going to be talking about in your segment, about what's going to be happening. And so, since we're going to be talking about your segment, let's just.
Oh, you going to extend it over?
Yeah.
I don't want to cut it off, brother. I want a whole 45 minutes.
No. You're gonna get that plus this.
Okay.
So we're gonna cross over.
Okay.
And we're gonna go into Demetra K's topic, which I think is very important, because guess what? Finally!
There ain't no finally, damn it.
Finally, D is seeing.
It ain't no finally.
How long have I been saying what you're going to be talking about?
I mean, you've been saying it for a while, but that's like I always say, brother, it's about delivery. It's all about delivery.
You guys are interested, read the book of Ike. It's called Ike. It's Ike Turner's answer to I, Tina, which was a very big book. And before that book, around the same time those books were written, there was a book written by a beautiful, gorgeous sister, and guess what? Queen Latifah took her look.
She sure did.
Back in the day.
Well, rightfully so. It's a beautiful look.
It's a beautiful look. Sherazade Ali.
Mm-hmm.
And she said what a good black woman needs is a punch
that
in the
mouth.
mouth.
That ain't what the hell she said.
What did she say?
Why you keep lying on that lady?
Well, that's the premise of the book. That's what I got.
What book was you reading?
The one who punched him in the mouth.
That's all you read, huh? You said, where is that? The last chapter, paragraph 6? Okay.
When it all doesn't work out.
That's all I need to read.
Right. When it all doesn't work out.
I don't need to know nothing else in the beginning, the middle of the book. I just need to know to punch her in her mouth.
That's right. To the moon, Alice. To the moon.
No.
Okay.
You ever heard that term, reading is fundamental?
Yeah, I've heard it.
I want you to apply that next time you try to read that book.
All right. The real title of the book is called The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman.
Absolutely, by Sherazade Ali. And sometimes I refer to her as Dr. Sherazade Ali. I don't know why, because I feel like she should be, if she's not already. I don't know if she's not, but she should be having honorary mastery of the subject of the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. And I said not too long ago on one of my Facebook posts, black women of 2018 sure could use the wisdom of Sherazade Ali right now. Because
what about Turner?
I haven't read that book.
You need to read it. Eat the Cake anime.
I don't know. I've seen the movie.
Okay.
I don't know how close to.
No, it wasn't close at all. But the point is, you should have gave me notice if you were going to walk from the hospital after giving birth.
No, we don't want to read that book. Okay, we don't want to read that book. But I digress.
Okay.
And so, I really feel like that black women especially need the wisdom of Sherazade Ali. For those of you guys who don't know who Sherazade Ali is, she, I don't know how closely tied she is with the Nation of Islam now, but I know that she's given a lot of credit to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for her teachings and, her being able to birth such, I call, a historical, most monumental piece of art is what this book is. And so, she's made a lot of talk show circuits and things like that, defending her book. But unfortunately, a lot of black women do not agree with her ideology about black women.
What a surprise.
And I've listened to a copious amount of her videos and things like that, and her message is very consistent. And she's also made the point that my book is not even really necessarily for men. It's for women as well. It's for everybody, so we can get, because her point is really that the black man has been dissected backward, forward, upside down, and inside out, the white man, the white woman, but the black woman has never really been examined. She's never really been taken to task.
Held accountable?
Well, and held accountable, really just been, like she said, dissected to look at in, you know, as a whole and say, okay, what is going on with this black woman to cause such a schism? Now, she never asserts, and nor am I asserting that there's nothing wrong with black men per se, but as a black woman, she's given her point of view on how we as black women can do better and how black men could help us do that and to understand us. And so I've seen so much stuff unfold, whether it's on Facebook, just in general, and it had me thinking about the state of the black woman.
Tommy Sotomayor,
No.
who has been showing a lot of this
Don't ever
stuff.
say my name and then his name.
Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of sisters don't like him, but remember, this is what we were arguing about before. I'm not saying he's right.
It's
about
delivery.
It's the delivery. But his whole thing was saying, look at what our women are doing.
But see, not to get off topic, but I don't want to give Tommy credit where credit is not due.
Okay.
Because for one thing, I feel like, and then this is where a lot of his fans are probably going to come from me, I don't care. But Tommy is not the right man to examine the black woman because, first of all, he doesn't even sound like he dates black women.
Mm-hmm.
He, for lack of better words, hates black women.
Okay.
I think we can draw that fair conclusion just basically how he speaks about black women. And so I don't think he is the authority to try to take black women to task. I think you need to have a little bit more expertise in dealing with black women, not just because see, to me, the Tommy's ideology about black women come from his experience with black women,
mm-hmm.
and it doesn't sound like he was 100% upright in dealing with the black women that has him so jaded too.
Okay.
So is some of the stuff he's saying correct? Yeah, I don't disagree with some of the stuff he's saying. I just don't like how he says it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so here we are with some of the things that have caused me to think about Shahrazad Ali's teachings, and one of them is, and forgive me guys, I'm getting over a cold, so if you hear me clear my throat, that's why. Now, a lot of you guys have probably seen the update about June's Beauty Supply. June's Beauty Supply is the incident, and I know we've had plenty of them, where the Asian owner punched the black lady in the mouth after she hit him, brushed him, pushed him, however you want to classify it. She laid hands on him, and then in turn, he punched her in the mouth to the tune of her needing 3 stitches. And so, this protest ensued. People were out there trying to shut him down, and this, that, and the other. For a while, it seemed like it was working, until he put up a sign in his store, his window, saying 50% off of, I guess, weave product, whatever's in the store. And from that point, you saw a line of black women out the door. Okay, now I don't know if it was because there was so many black women in the store, but some of the protesters were saying that he didn't even trust a bunch of black women in the store at the same time, and so as one comes out, he lets one in. But yet these black women, and we'll show the video, but these black women are lined up in there to get 50% off of whatever June is selling them. And so,
what revolution?
But at the same time, you have these protesters who are out there like, what are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so in the video, you'll also see there's a black woman who's vexed with the protesters to the point of she goes over there and she's nigger this and woo 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 and F you and what the F you mean?
That's the one with the missing edges, right?
If you want to say that, yes.
Gotcha.
And she's mad at the protesters, and so, you know, one thing that comes to my mind, because Shahrazad Ali talked about this, and she still talks about it a lot, but we've heard many of the greats, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan, just anybody you can think of, say this phrase: the black woman is the most unprotected and the most disrespected person in the world. I mean, I've even heard white people say that. The guy who's investigating R. Kelly for over 20 years said during his research of what's going on with R. Kelly and these young black women, he says he's learned that the most uncared about person in the world is a black woman. Okay, so I say all that to say I'm not disagreeing with that completely, but how can black women cry about being so disrespected and unprotected when you won't even go out on a limb and do that for yourself? Because when the first video came out of the Asian man punching the lady in the mouth, causing her 3 stitches, I got in a lot of trouble. I don't want to say trouble because I can't get in trouble, but a lot of people tried to take me to task for saying, we as black women, we need to stop being hard-headed. Why are you in there anyway? And so now you find out fat meat is greasy. Asian people do not really love black people like that. You get punched in the mouth, but you heard just a week ago, before that incident, you heard of 3 other black women getting beat down in an Asian nail shop. And so here it is happening to you, and now you want black men and black people in general to go out there and protect you. But yet you won't even do your part and stay out of the shop. And so then we see this video with these droves of black women waiting in the very same line of this man who brutalizes black women. In fact, that wasn't his first time doing it. It's rumored or said, I don't know how much of a rumor it is, that he has a history with brutalizing black women. And so we have that saying, oh, the black woman is the most unprotected and most disrespected person in the world. Well, why don't you help people protect you? Here this man is trying to protect black women. He's out there protesting. I'm sure there's other stuff he could have been doing. And yet here's this black woman, and I will use that really loosely with her. Black woman. She's to the point to where I imagine she probably could have hit him. She's so mad. You know,
mad at the fact that he's out there protecting her?
That's what she was arguing, that you don't protect us. You ain't doing nothing for us. Right, and so, but the minute you get yourself your wig split, or you drug up out of there, then you're going to be wanting that very same black man to make your video go viral, or to protect you. And so my point to that is, we can't expect everybody else to respect us and to protect us if we are not doing that ourselves. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's like me walking into a lion's den and saying, well, I'm going to go on in there because I don't think nothing's going to happen to me. But then when I go in there, I'm hollering for somebody to come save me. Well, why did you walk in there in the first place? So the other point that I have is, I've been seeing a lot of other rants and stuff on Facebook, and one came from this one girl saying that there are no good black men out there in America anymore. Good black men don't exist. You know, you guys are this, you're that, you have babies, you don't take care of them. And so she's got her an African man, a man from the motherland. And, you know, he treats her so much better and all this other stuff.
Until he tells you about his other wives back at the homeland.
Well, see, you said I did.
Yeah, his other wives and their traditional way of doing things where the women, you know.
Right. And so I said to her, and I wasn't mean about her or anything, I said, well, she happens to be from Texas, and so was my man. I said, well, I got a good black man from Texas.
Right.
But see, and I'm imagining this is how she was saying it to me. Now, see, you went there. Now you want me to go there. Well, you want my attention. Now you don't get my attention. That man, you in your profile picture, she said all kind of stuff about him, said all kind of stuff about me, and so I said,
Did you get your shoe off and get ready to?
No, I didn't. To me, it was funny. I mean, that lady don't know me.
Yeah, you take your earrings off, get ready.
Yeah, no, she did that. I didn't need to do
American
that.
black gladiator.
As my dad says, never let a classless person outclass you.
Sure.
So I was not going to get below that with her. But I said, well, maybe because you have a deplorable attitude, that's why American black men don't want to mess with you no more.
There it is.
You know what I mean? Maybe that has very little to do with them. It has a lot to do with you. I mean, just how you came after me, I wasn't mean to you.
Right.
But you felt like, well, let me give it to you now because that's just who you are. So you're not just like that with black men. You're like that with black women as well. You're just a nasty, acting person.
So would it be fair to say that that behavior is a learned behavior?
Yeah, it's a learned behavior, but, you know, to me, you're saying there's no good black men out there?
You know, remember a long time ago when we started these shows and we were talking about different things and me defending my leader, Tommy Sotomayor.
Your leader.
Yeah. Didn't I say? And everybody says, oh, that's, you know, you look like the type you date white women. I've never dated a white woman in my life.
In your life.
And the reason why, and the reason why I haven't done that, don't get me wrong, I've been pushed. Number one, I've never seen a white woman I've been attracted to. I've never seen that. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying. No, I would. Yeah. I've never seen one that I would be attracted to. Yet. And then number two, I love sisters so much, I would have to date every black woman in the world to come to that conclusion that black women ain't shit.
Come to an absolute,
yes. Yeah, to an absolute. And so, yeah, as more black young girls are being born and coming into womanhood, that's never going to happen for me. So I have too much of a, not that I can pick any woman I want in the world, I don't know why I can't, but you know what I mean? I would have to come to an absolute to say when black women ain't shit, I can't come to that conclusion.
Right. Oh, I agree with that. I don't think there's any absolutes. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, there's a lot of black women who will tell you they got them a good black man. You know,
Right. And I know a bunch of them that are good examples to me. They've been married for 30 years, 25 years.
And they don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and with dark chocolate sisters, happy. That's why I don't understand this color paradigm. Black is black.
Right.
So, if your man is high yellow and he got some Negro in him, he's black. That's just the bottom line.
Right. So, and then because I know we got about 7 minutes left on this segment.
No, we're going all the way through.
Okay. And so, another rant that I saw was from a younger black girl. She's a girl to me. She's in her young 20s.
Okay. I'm a woman.
Well, I think there's a lot that goes into actually being a woman. Age doesn't necessarily make you that, but that's just my opinion. Some people might say, me as being 47, I ain't a woman yet either. But she goes on this long soliloquy on Facebook talking about how black women aren't, teaching their sons this, that, and the other, and you expect teaching them to expect women to cook and do this and do that, but they're not doing this and doing that. I'm not necessarily saying that I disagree with her wholeheartedly, but I just wonder, how can you take a man to task when you ain't none of that you taking him to task about?
Thank you.
And I know this for a fact about this girl, who was ranting and raving about black men. And so we often hear this term used a lot when it comes to black women who want you to know who they are. They say, I'm a strong black woman. I don't think anybody necessarily knows what that means, especially when it comes from somebody who has to tell you all the time. Because I feel like if you're a strong black woman, people will see that without you uttering one word.
You don't have to say anything.
Like, wow, she's very strong, confident. Look, she knows who she is. You don't have to kick the door in.
Right.
I want to tell y'all, I'm a strong black woman.
Yeah, there's an old saying, power is where power goes.
Right.
So if you're all that, people are going to know that.
They're going to see that from across the street, like, damn, who is that?
If you're an attractive person and you walk into a room, people will notice that.
And not even just outwardly, but inwardly. They would know that you have a strong sense of self. You're unbothered. You don't need to put on airs. You don't have to walk into a room half naked to, command attention. So that's something you don't have to say to nobody.
Not to pat myself on the back, but as you know, a lot of people do not care for me.
That's not true.
Well, you know what I'm talking about in the political realm. I'm this, I'm a loudmouth, I'm this, that. But one thing everybody agrees on, I'm strong on my convictions.
Well, you're supposed to be. I think everybody's supposed to be. Now, and this is the thing, too. Let's clarify that. I'm not saying this about you. But you should be strong on your convictions if it's right. And if it's the right thing. Don't be strong on no BS.
Right.
Because everybody can see it's BS, and then you just look silly holding on to something that is just BS, for a lack of better word.
It's not tenable. But, in the political realm here, I'm not saying, you got to like me or whatever, but, like, if I go to city council, a lot of people... The city elders, I'm not a city elder, but I guess I would be because I've been here so long. But I get that mutual respect. I don't like this dude, but
yeah, I mean, if you know who you are, other people will just fall in line, or they'll fall in line, or they'll fall away from you, which is optimal for you in either way.
Right, and and to be smart is the fact that after 41 years, I'm not going anywhere. So you don't have to like me, but you got to respect me. Like, hey, he's not going anywhere. This is what he does.
And even if you don't respect me, stay away from me.
Right.
And I'm not going to be bothered by it either way, but just don't bring a disrespect around me.
Right, exactly. And that's what it is. Anywhere I go, people are like, well, that's how he is. That's Donovan.
Yeah, but you're not a bad dude.
Yeah.
Just some people just don't agree with your viewpoints, and that's fine. That's what makes the world go around.
Right, now, here's an old saying. I don't want to take away from the subject because we got plenty of time.
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
In a democracy, when everybody is thinking the same, somebody's not thinking.
True.
Because you're supposed to have different opinions and different. Democracy is about mass confusion and mass opinions and mass fighting.
Philosophy.
Right.
Philosophy asks us the question: how do we know?
Thank you.
How do we know that what you're saying is true? How I know what I'm saying is true? How do we know this is a table?
Right.
It asks us to ask questions.
Well, can I answer in the way your daughter would answer?
How's that?
That's a social construct.
That's a social construct. I'm so happy she's back in school so she can take her social construct self over there for a couple more months.
Right. But again, like you were saying, you don't have to blurt out. I'm this, I'm that.
People will see that. I don't think I've ever in my life uttered the words, I'm a strong black woman.
Strong, educated black woman.
I mean, but won't people already see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's like me saying this water is wet. Well, I can see that. You don't need to tell me that.
Right.
I know water is wet.
Right.
You know, some things you just don't need to make a big old announcement. I feel like people who do that is because they know they're not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I'm going to talk as loud and as boisterous as I can.
Right.
So that if I keep saying it loud enough,
people are going to believe it.
Yeah, they'll believe it.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't believe it.
Right. And like I said, just dealing with you, you know, this is my opinion. I've known you for a long time.
Watch out now.
She's about to stab me, y'all. You know, you walk it like you talk it. I mean, you're not one of these people, I've got these degrees, I got the, I mean.
Which I rarely even talk about,
right.
to be honest with you.
And you don't. But by your diction, by how you, you know, you present yourself, I mean, you keep it real. You have long hair, you have short hair, you're you.
I'm short, I'm fat, I'm skinny.
Right, you know? No, but you know what I mean? It's like you don't have to, that's deep.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you come to that point when you know who you are. Listen, I'm not going to be on this show every week, and I said this on my last show, with a different outfit, because I'm not trying to please you like that, unless if you don't like my outfits and my shirts that I wear, listen, I'll set up a PayPal called Demetrius Wardrobe, and you can send money there, and I'll go get whatever you want me to wear, but I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I say this, but I'm not trying to please everybody else. I'm only trying to please a few people. That's myself, God, my man, and my child, and few other people, but that's about it. But mostly I'm trying to please me.
Right, so I've been lecturing about getting some booty shorts on here so we can get all the views up.
Yeah, well, maybe not next lifetime.
Yeah, not next lifetime. There you go.
But yeah, and so the question that I have, since we're going to run right through, we're going to, for those of you guys on the podcast, stay tuned. I will give us how much we got? 47 seconds. When it goes off, I'll give us a second if you want to join us on the podcast. I know some of you guys are at work, and then we'll continue. But I'll set this question up as we come back, okay? Because I want you to really help me with this.
All right.
And maybe somebody wants to chime in on the podcast. How does a strong black woman end up with a weak black man?
Wow, that's a good question.
I really want to dissect that a little bit more in the next segment. How does a strong black woman end up with a weak black man? Because oftentimes we hear strong black women whining about weak black men.
All the time.
So how does that work?
Okay, we're going to get to in the next segment.
How does that work?
All right.
And for those of you guys on YouTube, we are getting ready to transition to our next podcast, which is in the next 10 seconds or so. So bear with us, but as we're doing that, I just want to say thank you. For those of you who do watch, I know sometimes there's a few and sometimes there's a lot depending on the topic, but even if it's just one, we want to say thank you for doing that because we do it for you to get the information, get it out there in order to make us better people. So that's what it's all about.
Dawn Beauty Supply update.
Yeah. So that's really why we do what we do. Is to put the information out there along with everybody else who is trying to educate and uplift the black community with things that we know, the best way we know how. And so for those of you guys that's back on the podcast, thank you so much for coming back because we have so many more things to get to in the next 45 minutes. And so the question that I ended off with was, how does a strong black woman end up with a weak black man?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
She is desperate and she just lowers her expectations.
Well, I think that those things are true because I hear that a lot. I hear the lamenting of quote unquote strong black women crying about weak black men. Oh, I'm sick of being with these weak black men. All these weak black men out there. My baby daddy's a weak black man, and my boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. Okay. So if you a strong black woman, wouldn't you know how to make wiser decisions in regards to choosing a strong black man? Well, how do you as a strong black woman end up with somebody who was less than or lackluster? How does that even come into play? How do you do that unless you a weak black woman too? So I think, you know, I don't even know if those terms can be defined, because I think a strong black woman, whatever that is different for every woman. You know, my standards for a man may be different from another woman's standard, but Shahrazad Ali, since we want to get back into that, Shahrazad Ali made an excellent point that a lot of people are probably going to get mad with, but I couldn't do nothing but run circles around my room as I was getting dressed, as I was listening to her. And she says, rats, and I said rats, R-A-T-S, have higher standards for selecting a man than the black woman.
Are you mean like rats in the Donald Trump?
Rats. No, not the Donald Trump rat. I'm talking about rats like the rat in the mouse, cheese, cat, rat.
Okay.
Rats have higher standards for selecting a man than black women. And she broke it on down.
Okay.
She says, it is a known fact that rats, when they're selecting a mate, female rats, when they're selecting a mate, they make sure that he's got a place for them.
Okay.
He's able to provide for them. That he is almost physically perfect in order to mate with.
Right.
And
alpha.
so he's able to do those things. And so she says, well, how is it that a rat has better male selecting skills than black women? Now, I'm assuming she's predominantly speaking to black women, so we're going to leave it there, because I don't want nobody to say, well, it's not just black women. No, duh. You ain't got to tell us the obvious, but we're speaking about black women. And so, to me, that really hit home. It really did, because you hear a lot of black women, like the one that was on Facebook that tried to castigate me. She's talking about these black men are weak, and and she basically said, and she was speaking to the black men in Texas, because that's where she's from. She said the black mothers in Texas raised their sons to be their boyfriends, and therefore they ain't no good, and all this other stuff, and so therefore she's done with dealing with American black men. But
giving up on your own.
Wow. Yeah, it's like, well, maybe it ain't them, it's you.
Right.
What
common denominator.
Yeah, what is your selection process like? You know, because to Shahrazad Ali's terminology or example with the rats is like, golly. And I'm not listening, and I always say this to you guys, I will never speak from a position of, well, that's you guys and not me. I would never do those things. I've never done it. I'm not saying I haven't been there before. I'm 47 years old, so I have a little bit of experience under my belt, good and bad experience, and a lot of bad experience with selecting men. So when I said that would hit home, or it resonated with me, because I understood that. There's been times where I've selected a mate that was just, I don't want to use the word garbage, but hell, it is what it is. But then, if I'm going to self-reflect, it's like, well, what did that say about me to be with a man that is below standard, substandard? Right. What did that say about me? Obviously, I have some sort of, self-esteem issues to select a man that was not suitable for me, which is why I'm now with a man that's suitable for me, because I've, learned my lessons. I've been there and done that, and I have decided once I got knowledge of self that I didn't want to end up with any more substandard men. And so, for those of us who complain about there's no good black men, and all the men you've ever been with, and now that's why I'm gonna be with a white man, or I'm done with black men, ask yourself, what has your selection process been like? What does your criteria sheet look like in regards to selecting a mate?
How dare you tell me what I should be getting involved with and all this other stuff
well,
like
that? Then I'm tired of hearing you rant and rave about no good black men out there if you could keep selecting no good black men. Because if that's who you're selecting, and look, they say water seeks its own level and so does people. So if you keep selecting a substandard man, that means you're a substandard woman, because a woman, you don't see queens running around the court with jesters. Do you?
Yeah, in the black community.
Well, I'm talking about from a metaphorically standpoint.
No, absolutely.
Well, how many queens in whatever society? I mean, even what is it? Mark Antony's, Cleopatra, and all them. Yeah, they got with some pretty devious men, but they were
powerful men.
Powerful men. They didn't get with the fool that's running around and acting stupid all the time and didn't know nothing. They got with somebody who was going to be able to help them accomplish, whether it was good or bad, be able to accomplish their goals. And so when you as black women, we as black women I should say, run around talking about I'm a queen.
If
well, what you doing with that buster?
Right, and then if you're going to be a queen, you should act like one.
Right, not just see,
not just hold the title.
and that's the thing too. I think the term queen is so loosely
It's
applied.
watered down.
Ask yourself, because I like to think a lot, and sometimes people will be like, "Wow, you ever not think?" No, I don't. I always think.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm gonna call myself a queen, I might want to dissect that. Well, what does it mean to be a queen? Is it just by title because I'm black? I'm a queen, you know, but I'm doing ratchet stuff, but I'm calling myself a queen. No, queens act in a queenly manner. Queens are desired. Queens are desired because of their abilities to, as my dad would say, bring balance to a man, bring balance to a situation. They're the voice of reason. They know how to eloquently get their point across and, you know, rear the children and set a great example. They also know, queen also knows that she needs to learn how to follow. Yeah, a queen can lead, but she also needs to follow her king. She can't be in a position of usurping her king. And that comes to my other point of things. Oh, you know, I'm actually not sweaty. I'm shiny. This is my shea butter by a good friend of mine on Facebook, Tammy.
Tammy, okay.
Yes.
She makes her own shea butter?
Yes, and I buy it, and it's excellent, and it keeps me
moisturized.
Yeah, it's gonna keep the wrinkles gone. So I don't mind being shiny.
Wrinkles?
I'm trying to keep them at bay. You know?
Your mother did not have wrinkles.
I know,
God rest her soul.
but Lord,
I take a lot of your traits from her.
I'm getting a lot of gray hair now, so
welcome.
Right.
So okay.
As long as there's Clairol. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
But that brings me to my other point. As far as queens, being able to be led by her king. So I saw this other scenario on Facebook. It's funny I saw these things on Facebook. Well, the scenario was that of a stepfather, and I'm in this private group I'm in. He was inquiring about his situation in that his stepdaughter, who is 19, she's in school, college, I guess, maybe a freshman, but she does nothing else. She lays around, I don't know if she lays around their house, but lays up with her boyfriend, smoking weed, and comes in the house at 2 or 3 in the morning, and he's had the conversation with his wife, her mother saying, this is unacceptable. We need to do something because she can't keep doing this. But the mom is like, well, I'ma support her. That's my child. And, you know,
Wait, you're going to support her until she cannot fend for herself and expects mommy to do everything. And here's, I just had this baby. Here, you take the responsibility.
Well, but again, you know, to my point, and this was a comment that I made. I said, this is why people should not marry other people who still have their grown children tied to their apron strings. Because that parent is more in love with their child, and I'm not saying you should choose.
I guess I'll be single for the rest of my life.
And you might be at the rate. And some of these comments I read, you know, you might, these parents are more in love with their children, their grown children, than they are their significant other or their spouse. And I also said things will never get better. You need to pack your stuff and leave.
Right.
Because she's always like, if you're telling what you're saying is true, this 19-year-old is coming in at all times of night, laying up smoking weed with her boyfriend, and she's not contributing to the house. And her mom, your wife, doesn't see that being a problem. You're always going to be on the tail end of that.
Well, can I ask you this? If you have a child and you're raising that child and you're telling them don't do drugs, do like that, why would that rule change? Even though they hit the magic number 18, why would that rule change in your house?
Well, and that's what a lot of people, and a lot of women, I hate to say it, I didn't see any men that I can think of co-signing that, but they were like, well, that's her child, and of course, you know, she should help her child, and it depends on whose house it is, and who's paying the most bills.
Okay.
And I was like, huh?
Wait. If we know that drugs are destructive, please, everybody out there, I want you guys to listen to me. This is serious. I'm not even going to joke on this.
Okay, well, let me get a drink on that.
Yeah, get a drink on this. Everybody knows I was a thespian, not a lesbian. A thespian, which for those that don't know, that is a somebody who's in the theater. You're an actor.
Glorified actor.
You're a glorified actor, right? Academy Award winning. No, but you're in the society, you're a thespian society of actors. And please show me a movie or a TV series where a person used drugs and everything worked out. They don't even write scripts like
Willy
that.
Wonka.
They use drugs and it worked out?
Remember when he drank the fizzy lifting drink?
but that wasn't a drug. It was a fizzy lifting drink.
Well, some people have analyzed that to make what was that drugs?
Well, again, but that isn't what made everything perfect. But
I'm just giving you a hard time.
yeah. But my point is, there has never been a movie made, and we're not far from Hollywood, because everybody knows drugs lead to a bad conclusion. It's just a fact.
Well, and my thing is this. This is gonna sound really jacked up. It wouldn't be the first time. But my thing is, if you doing drugs, I don't give a shit. Honestly, you just ain't gonna do it here.
Right.
Because
that's my point.
You know, I don't want. I mean, I'm putting myself in those people's shoes. You know.
Why would your rules change?
If my daughter, she's not, that I know of, she's not doing drugs. But if she was doing drugs, she was in my house. Obviously, she knows I don't want her doing drugs, and especially doing drugs in my house. But if she were to continue to do that, I'd be like, as much as I love you, I love my sanity too. What I'm gonna need you to do is get all your hefty bags full of clothes and your belongings and go on and do what it do. But you can't do that here.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You know, if you're one of those parents, oh, she's 18, whatever. I used to tell my son all the time. He's like, oh, I want to get a tattoo. When you get of age and you get the hell out your mama's house and off of our support, you can do what you want to do.
I had an aunt, R.I.P.
But until you,
she had kids that were drug addicts, like drug addicts. And instead of putting them out the house, and this is back in the day. She had a lock on, you know, remember the rotary phone? Yeah. She put a lock on the phone so they couldn't make them, because back in the day you had to pay long distance. Yeah. She had a lock on the phone so they couldn't dial, and if you needed to use her phone, she'd go into her apron,
get the key out and unlock it.
Unlock the phone and stay right there, make sure she locked it back up. Her doors were locked. I mean, this lady could have everything was on lockdown instead of just putting these people out.
I had a friend who kind of was in the same situation, but her grandmother put a payphone in the house. So if they had to use that phone that was in the
I'm just not gonna be going through all that in my house. You know I love my daughter dearly.
Yes.
But there's just, I mean, it's just not certain things I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna be high, but then I got the purse down in the kitchen. Let me go get it.
I mean,
you know,
and these people, and I'm not even gonna defend any of that. I'm just saying, if getting a tattoo for my child at 6 years old is a bad thing, to me it's a bad thing at 18 years old.
Well, I just feel
in my house.
Yeah, well, and that's
the rule doesn't.
That's the problem and that's where the problem that I had, or when I was reading some of the comments in the post of people wanting to co-sign why the girl needs to be there. Well, 19 is not really considered an adult; she's still a child.
Well, if you're an
but
adult,
she's not doing right. She's not doing childlike things, and I don't care if I say, when you come in this house, I need you to shimmy 3 times, hop on the chandelier, spin around, and then do a double backflip in my house. If those are the rules I have for you, then you need to try to do it. Otherwise, you try to get yourself a place to stay where you can do all those things. Like some things are just not negotiable. You're not gonna come in here and, as my dad says,
and change the rules,
or enforce your madness on the rest of the house. And for you women who think that you should marry a man and bring him into your house, or you should be going into his house, but that's a whole other conversation. If you feel like you can forge a union with a man and you got grown kids who you can't separate from, don't do that to him, because what you'll do is ultimately run that man off, and then you'll add him to your bullshit narrative. I cuss, I'm trying not to. You're gonna add him to your narrative of, oh, ain't no good black man out there. Black men ain't nothing. They don't stick around for nothing. No, because see, what you're gonna do is not tell the whole story and say, you know what? I had a good black man. He wanted to build a union with me, but I couldn't cut the apron strings loose. I let the kids run the household. I'm not talking about no little kids, but you shouldn't let the little kids run the house either. But I'm talking about grown kids come into your house and cause a schism between you and your man. If you're not able to follow his lead and say, okay, baby, you're right. Maybe the 19-year-old shouldn't be living here bill-free, smoking weed, laying up with her man and coming here all times of the night. You're right. We should fix that. If you're not able to do that, then let that man go find a woman who can.
I'm going to throw a scenario out there with you because, you talk about this all the time, and I've been talking about it for years. That's why it's very hard for me to find that person, because what have I been saying? These women that I've been meeting, a lot of them are in love with their children. I love my son, but I'm not in love with him. Big difference.
And but see, though a lot of people don't understand the difference between what you just said, loving your child and being in love with your child. Because when you're in love with your child, that child can come in at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, lay up with their man or they dude, smoking weed in the house, not paying no bills, running your man. That's what you're in love with, let you do. Oh, that's my baby. I just I'm trying to help him. I just don't want to see them out on the street. And that's what in love will get you. But loving your child will be like, I love you the day, and just as much as I did when you was born. However, I love you enough to put your black ass out of my house with your nonsense until you want to get yourself together. Me putting you out or making you go do it and take your knowledge, let your knowledge take you, it's going to take you. It's going to make you the adult you're supposed to be. But see, you can't do that here. Because I love you enough and I love me enough for you not to mess with my peace of mind. So you're going to have to get on.
Yeah, I kind of subscribe to the Marvin Gaye Sr.
You know what's funny? My dad said the same thing.
I kind of subscribe to that.
My dad said the same. Matter of fact, he said that to me the other day. He says, I understand why Marvin Gaye daddy took him up out of here. Right. Because you're not going to come in here with this man that's disrespecting me and your mama.
Right.
I kill you dead.
And the thing is, this is my woman. Regardless if I'm jumping on her, this is my woman.
Regardless if that's your mama, that's my woman.
Right, exactly.
Okay, and she was my woman first, and you ain't gonna come in here and run roughshod all over her.
Right.
I kill you dead.
Okay, you did. And but let me ask you this. What about if you meet a woman and her children are they got a job, they're doing all those things, but they're still at the house?
Well, I feel like this because somebody on the same post accused me and basically said, why is it that black people want to always put their kids out the house? I said, first of all, that's a lie from the pit of hell. And this scenario here has nothing to do with black people. This has something to do with a child being disrespectful. But on the flip side of that, if your grown kids are at home, and I'm not necessarily against that. I'm not, because it's hard out here.
It is.
It is very hard out here, especially, and that's another thing, to this point, Charlotte Ali touched upon. She says, and this was like maybe 10 years ago or so when she made this video, but she says, after a while, fighting with black men and women fighting with each other is going to be considered a luxury because we're going to get to the point to where the things we're going to start fighting over are going to be who ate the last pot of beans.
Right. The last piece of chicken.
Right. I lost my job. We're going to be talking about those things because times are going to get hard for black people. And with that, the same thing she said has materialized. And so I realize it's hard out here. So I don't have a problem with the grown kids living at home as long as they're productive and they're contributing. Like, I'm not taking care of no grown-ass kids that's not doing nothing. You ain't sucking up the good air conditioning and TV while I'm out busting them up.
Okay, let me give you a better scenario there. Okay, you have two grown kids, a daughter and a son. And they're grown, they're 19, let's say one's 22. Right. Going to school, they're doing everything they're supposed to do. And they're living at home. Okay. Why can't those two kids go get an apartment themselves and get on their own?
And you know me, you have this schism a lot. I argue that again, there's nothing wrong with your kid. If you guys are in a union, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. There's nothing wrong with your kids living at home. Right. Because to that lady's point, who misapplied it to me, other races do allow their children, and not even allow, but in some respects, they demand that their kids stay home
until they get married.
Until they learn what there is to learn. They don't kick them out of the nest, especially if they're doing the right. Now, if your kids ain't doing the right thing, then go back. But if your kids are doing the right thing, let them stay home. Let them stay up under your wing so you can continue to mentor them. Because as you made a good point, with my mom was mentoring me till the day she died. But that's how it is. You're not supposed to say, well, you 18, get out, I'm done with you. Because we have a lot of older people who are still mentally immature because they weren't fully developed when they left the house. You hear a lot of stories about good kids being put out of the house or having to
doing bank robberies.
Yeah, or having to join the military or whatever. Not saying that's bad, but that was their way out. Or they're out in the street and they're learning about life the wrong way instead of mom and dad having a little bit more patience. But the mom and dad or whoever fell into that false ideology of, shit, you grown, you need to get out of my house.
Right. Now, and that's another good point. And when we talk about these things, I can talk from personal experience. You have a child that's out there, you teach them the right way, and they go get them a street urchin, and have, no, seriously, there's some kind of phenomena going on with black
urchin.
Yeah, the lowest of the low.
God.
No, but there's some kind of phenomena going on with the black woman, with what you're saying, and how they're picking the worst of the worst. I was watching the show not for my man, but not deadly women.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was for my man.
The one you were telling me about?
Yeah, where this girl was, it's on TV One, where this girl, she was in the church, mom's a pastor, dad's a pastor in the church. She got 3 kids by 3 different dudes, and the mom was a pastor, and they were interviewing her, and they go, oh, she just loved them thugs. But you were teaching her the right way.
Well, how did she come up with 3 different baby
Right,
daddies?
but here's the pastor's mom. Talk about, she can't choose for her daughter, but the point is, if you were raising her so correctly in the church, why did she still end up 3 times making the same decision over and over and over again?
I've never been a pastor's kid. They call them PKs or whatever the case is. But I don't know how true it is, but you hear a lot of people talk about how the pastor's kids always, or not always, but most of the time they end up with the worst scenario, having the kids out of wedlock and all the drugs and all that kind of stuff. And I think if you have to look a little bit deeper into it, maybe it's because the mom and the dad are so busy building the church and trying to save everyone else's souls that they're neglecting the souls of people in their house. So I think that's how that comes about.
Yeah, but again, it goes back to what I was saying, and there's a phenomenon in the black community where these women are saying, wow, look, this guy got tattoos all over his ass, pants are hanging down, he has nothing going for him, I think I'll have a child with that.
Well, this is 2 points here that, see, I was taking notes today because I really wanted to, do my homework. Right. 2 points, okay? Shahrazad Ali said, since we're teaching out of the book of, the theology of Shahrazad Ali, she says, to your point, she says the only time we're getting along with our man is when we're lying down, okay? And so to the other point she made, I'm going to get to it. The other point she made is, she said, take your heart out of your vagina. She's talking to women.
I gotta go read that book again.
So I'm tying those 2 points together because you say, how is it that, black women, and it's a phenomenon from what you say in the black community, that we end up with street urchins is because we are so physically enamored by men or just the act of sex. Maybe in some cases you haven't had it in a while, and he comes and he blows your back out and your wig off, and you're like, oh shoot, where you been all my life? You just, for reason and rhyme, everything just goes out the window, and we're like, oh, this is the man. But then she also made the good point, which I thought was beautiful, that after a while, the physical stuff wears off. Sex is just sex. And she made a good point saying that in most people's lifetime, you only spend about 2.5 hours of having orgasms in your whole life. And so,
well, for women.
What?
Men, we have orgasms.
Okay, 3 hours for y'all.
Yeah.
It's just in your whole lifetime. The time.
Yeah. Okay.
It averages about 2.5 hours or so. The point that she's making is that you really ain't spending that kind of quality. Like, it's not an all day thing you're doing.
Right.
And so once that wears off, it's like, I really don't even like you.
Right.
Now I'm seeing that you ain't about nothing, whatever that means to you. Yeah, you do got 5 other baby mamas, but I didn't see any of that because we was getting it in. I was about to become 6 baby mamas.
Right.
And I was wanting to, but now I see, well, gosh, I wouldn't have chosen to be with you if I would have waited to have sex or realized that sex just kind of is a, how do you call it, it masks things.
Well, whatever happened to asking the guy, okay, well, where do you work? What's your future? Do you have a felony? Can I get a credit report?
Pastor Thaddeus Matthews, who we love dearly.
Yes, can I get a credit report?
He makes that point, and I'm being a little bit funny here, but it's funny, sad, and funny, too. But he says for a lot of women, a dude got to walk up to you and offer you a drink and some hot wings. And he said, don't let him let you order some French fries. And I know this has been a little bit graphic, but he said he ain't even gonna be able to get you home. You're gonna be giving it to him all night long in the back of the seat. And so the point that I make to bringing up that very graphic illustration is that how do I ask you the questions if I don't ask the questions before we get horizontal?
Right.
Because some good sex will make you just be like, the house is on fire? Oh, who cares?
Yeah, wow.
You just, woo!
Because speaking as a man, see, I don't have to worry about those questions because I'm the stalker. I'm the one saying this is what I want.
You're supposed to be.
Right.
The man is supposed to be the pursuer. And I know that a lot of you new age,
social construct.
Social construct. Women who were against sexism, who fell into the ideology, the false ideology of women's lib. Not that all of women's lib is bad, but the what it represents is negative, especially for black women. I know you guys will say, well, it's 2018.
I didn't get mine too.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with a woman going up to a man and, shooting her shot. Well, listen, like I said, I'm 47. I ain't that old, but I'm a traditional in that I am never going to go up to no man and shoot my shot.
Right.
I think you as a man, or any man out there knows what he wants. Now, yes, you can put a little hippie, dippy, all that, and bat your eye, let him know you're interested, but as far as here, baby,
yeah, here's my number, here's my card.
What your number is.
Yeah.
I would never.
I always tell my son that too. I said, you know what? I said, for a young guy, I said, I wish I was. I don't really wish I was in their time, but I was like, you're so lucky because he's at college. He doesn't pursue women; they pursue him.
That's just what they've been taught, and unfortunately, they probably watching their mama shoot they shot at. I mean, listen, to each his own. I'm just saying, I don't think we should be teaching our girls. You just need to just be so forward, because from a lot of the men that I've talked to, they said that is not a turn on.
No, it isn't, because if a woman's that forward with me, that means she's an easy mark.
I mean, can you imagine her too carrying you over the threshold when you get married?
Yeah. And
then she's moving you into her house, and then you get mad when she talking about
get
out of my house.
Right, exactly, and you have nowhere to go. It's like I've been pursuing your sister for what, 30 years?
Keep going. 3 feet from gold.
Right,
okay?
exactly.
You don't quit.
But the point is, though, I'm pursuing.
Right.
I mean, it's not the other way around.
Right.
So, I mean, I just think that there's something wrong where these women are. Remember my 2 little cousins, the twins, and they were like, oh, I don't want this guy. I want this type of guy.
Oh yeah.
And they were blatant about it.
And they were what, 13?
13 at the time.
13.
13 at the time.
Hey,
so.
Max. They were 13.
So, so, we had that going. Hey, a quick note. Mighty Matt has made an appearance.
Hi, Kelly.
So, hey, come on, have a seat.
Where are you
Where
My edges are done.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it.
Hi, America.
Yes, Mighty Matt. Our roving.
I was hoping to get my edges here.
Ain't you lucky you got them?
There you go. Right, we're going to switch it up real quick. Have a seat. Have a seat.
Let me make sure my ringtone is off.
So anyway, as they continue to get situated there, let's see, what other points did I have? Oh, I have another good point, and I'll wait for Mr. Sadiq to get back in here, because I think he can add a lot of value to this point, but I'll go ahead and just put it out there. Shahrazad Ali also makes a point in saying, if you want to make a man, she's talking to women, start with your own son. Start being a good example to your own son, showing him what to expect when dealing with women, because men learn how to deal with women by the women who are closer to them, and usually that's their mama. And so if they watch their mom acting in a lackluster manner, more than likely, I'm not saying always, but more than likely they're going to pursue a woman who behaves the same way. And so she also made the point that you cannot, let me move on. A woman, you cannot buy a man. You can't buy a man, which a lot of women try to do. They try to, in some cases, bring a man into her house. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine last night, and he was saying that a good friend of his met a man on Facebook or some dating app or something. Facebook can be like a dating app, I guess. But met him on a dating app. Within 3 months, he moved 800 miles to move in with her and her daughter, who was a minor. And so I'm like, well, she doesn't even really know this guy. But, she moved him in, and she's got a great job, and she's taking care of him. And so I said, I don't like to be negative, but that's probably not going to last.
And that's not a man.
Yeah, well, he's probably like, well, shit, I got me a sugar mom.
Maybe he really loves her.
I mean, it's possible.
Doubt it.
I'm not saying it's possible.
I doubt it.
But what man, and then this is where Donovan probably can come in, what man worth his weight is one will move 800 miles and be with to uproot, because see, this is what I want to know.
Okay.
How much what did you really have going on in your life as a
Right.
fully grown man? And in 3 months, you would uproot everything
Right.
and move. Go ahead.
Maybe he's a hustler and his business travels with him. He doesn't have any children, no roots at home.
Well, I guess, because I
Okay.
asked. It says he's a musician.
Okay, well.
Okay, so he doesn't have.
I don't know if he got some mixtapes or.
Yeah, no. And, and I can understand that, but when you get like my age, a certain age, you should be established, and because remember, we're getting older, so you got to put in the Social Security. You got to look at what's going on. It's all fun and games up till about 30, 32.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and then maybe you can help too, Max. Who does this woman have to be for Donovan Sadiq to uproot in 3 months and go live with her? Who does this like? How bad? And I'm not talking about bad, awful, but how bad of a woman does this have to be for you to do that?
You guys know I will take them 18 to 80, dumb, cripple, and crazy.
You know what?
As long as she's got some dough,
I'll
go.
He's willing to go.
No, I'm serious. If I'm gonna uproot myself and what I have going on here, she better have a significant amount of money. I don't, she could be fat, whatever. I'll work with that.
He can put her in the gym.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? For me, that's what's gonna take because, I'm pretty much established here, and so I'm good to go. I mean, she has got to have it there. I mean, she's got to be like a Tony Braxton type,
So you're
money.
saying that you would do that? That would be a consideration for you to uproot.
You got a lot going on here.
Yeah.
No. Oh, for me to uproot.
To uproot. She's like, baby, I love you, but I can't leave, and I got this child, but I need you to come with me.
Because I'm a real man. No, the plan is here. This is the plan.
So
here.
you're saying that probably wouldn't be the relationship for you.
Yeah, it would be a relationship for me, but I mean, I can stay in a relationship if she's got money so that I can fly over and make it work. But no.
She got to be flying you over.
Yeah, because I'm staying here.
Right.
If you got a middle class and you can't fly me over and you fly back, it's not gonna happen.
So then there goes the point, as Shahrazad Ali. Shahrazad Ali is a woman who I deem to be a scholar. We're using her
Get
work
to the
today.
puncher in the mouth.
No, we're never going to get to that point, okay? Because that's a point she never made.
Right.
But she said that a lot of women nowadays are trying to buy a man. And so, I've known women, I mean, I won't say no names, but when I was younger, I would see older women with, dudes that, like, damn, your man don't never know the word.
Yeah.
What does he do?
Yeah, we have some friends. Well, I don't want to think, but I know what you're talking about. We have two that.
Yeah, they just like your mom's man is always home.
And when he's not working out, she throws him out and stuff.
It's almost like if you ever seen the soap operas where the people are walking around the house and they're fully dressed in these silk shirts. And it's like, well, y'all don't ever go nowhere. That's to me what it looked like. He was just monkey fresh, fly, walking.